and may the decisions made here be pleasing and beneficial to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the purposes of attendance, the clerk will call the roll.
Campbell.
Here.
Connor.
Here.
Geiger.
Here.
Getty.
Here.
Gibson.
Here.
Jackson, absent. Smelker.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Approval of, or reports from, no, we are on approval of written agenda at this time. Does any state or county officer or their representative have a report to share with the board? Hearing none. Limited public comment. Oh, Dar.
Do you have me on the agenda?
Yes, we do, don't we? For annual report?
Annual report, I believe that.
That better?
I don't know that I've let Llewellyn know yet, but. We have the road commission on, but, board's okay with two of them yet.
I won't be here next week, next Tuesday.
You wanna go the full board,
Right.
is that when the road commission is on? So, as long as the board's okay with two, which shouldn't be a problem, yeah, we can place the sheriff on as well.
Or if you want to have them wait a couple weeks, I mean,
It's up to you. You got a badge. You can do what you want.
it's your meeting.
Okay, we'll have you present at the next BOC, which would be at the end of the month.
27th, is that right, Michael? Excuse me, 27th? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other reports from state or county officers?
We didn't approve it.
No, we didn't approve the agenda. Folks, it's been a long time since I sat in this chair. Approval of written agenda at this time, and does any member of the public wish to remove items for consideration? Items for under consent? Let me start over. My name is Ben.
Are you sure?
At this time, does any member of the public wish to remove items, the consent items, into items for consideration? Hearing none, does any commissioner wish to change the agenda additionally? Hearing none, without objection, the agenda is approved as written. Good job, Ben. You get a cookie. All right.
Thank you for coming back. Is this working? Is that working?
There.
The button needs to be up, Jim.
Okay, it's up, I hope. Thank you for coming back to this phenomenal room. It's been a long time, and we appreciate you guys finding the way back here for us, so thank you. A couple quick updates. The stormwater rules have been updated. That was we asked for up to $5,000 to get all the county stormwater rules updated, and you guys gave us the money. We haven't paid the final bill on it, but if anybody wants a copy of it, I'm more than welcome. Great reading. Second, we did get started on the north end of Long Lake. The box culverts are there. Because of COVID, everything screwed up. We finally got them. They didn't pour them till June 17th, and then it had to cure. They are here. The bypass driveway is in for all the emergency vehicles if they got to get in for a fire, which is by code. The bypass piping is in. They're hoping to drive sheet piling on that portion on Monday and Tuesday, so then they'll be working on the box culvert, and then they'll go up and do the sheet piling into Cloverdale, I would hope sometime next week. Third of all, the drawings are all done for the Watson project, the 2 pump houses and the in-ground pumping, so if you know anybody that wants to bid on that, they're welcome to come and get bids. We got 107 contractors we're reaching out to see who all wants to bid on it, so that's all I got. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks again for being up here.
You're welcome. Does any other state or county officer have a report to share with the board? Limited public comment. At this time, any member of the public wishing to address the board may do so for up to 3 minutes. Mayor's correspondence. Does any commissioner have any correspondence to share with the board? Consent items. Vice Chair Connor.
Mr. Chairman, I would move for the approval of the June 22nd, 2021 Board of Commissioner meeting minutes.
Second.
Motion by Connor, supported by Gibson, to approve the items listed under the consent agenda. Discussion is not allowed and roll call vote is required. The clerk will call the roll.
Campbell,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Getty,
Yes.
Gibson,
Aye.
Jackson absent, Smoker,
Aye.
Geiger.
Aye. The consent agenda is approved. Presentations, we have none. Public hearings, Marilyn Smith.
In fact, I think I put the public hearing notice with the other building. Is that gonna be a problem?
Technically, yeah.
Yeah.
Here,
That will be.
what do we do?
We're gonna have to, re-advertise for the public hearing.
Okay, I can get it in today. And then the next board meeting would be,
The next one will be on the 27th.
I'm pretty sure I got the other address because when did you switch back to here?
Today.
Today was the first meeting here, but we noticed it at the last, meeting.
Okay, well, we put it in on June something, that we were going to be doing it, and probably, I didn't know that it was going to change, you didn't know it was going to change as well, I'm sure. So, okay, so the next board meeting is when?
27th.
Okay, well, I don't think I can be here because I'm
How many
going to
days
take
is
people to the airport.
required?
Is that gonna be a problem?
Say that?
I'm not, I won't be here on the 27th because I'm going to be taking people to the airport.
I'll work with you
Okay.
to prepare, to walk folks through it, and then,
Okay, well, I'll walk through it now. It won't be for the public, it'll be for the commissioners, and then is that
Well,
okay?
what,
Wanna wait?
technically, we haven't started the public hearing yet. What if we go through,
you absolutely have the right to, the public hearing portion of it is for the public to provide their comments related to the proposal. That proposal has been made available to the public. The problem that we have is that the public wasn't notified if they have comments to come here as opposed to, so they've been notified, they've had opportunity, we'll correct that and hold the public hearing with the correct notification. But you have the right to have Marilyn explain anything that you want to you as a body. In fact, that would be appropriate because you can't, I mean, as a body, you can't do this outside of a meeting. So if you want to take the time right now to have Marilyn explain it to you, that's absolutely appropriate, so that you fully understand it. And then when the public hearing occurs, if there's public at the next meeting, you'll have an idea of how their comments affect this project. So
so the public hearing said 9 o'clock?
9 a.m. at the other building. It was perfectly done, it was just at the wrong place. I could have had a sign that says, over here, but the only sign I have right now are 3 kittens.
I understand the easy thing is to
Walk
say,
across
well,
the-
we could walk over and see if anybody's there. The concern that I would have in the spirit of it, if you may, is that somebody may have shown up and left.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
the other thing is we haven't had input in years.
No,
I mean, we really haven't. But again, that's easy to, but in the spirit and the legal aspect of it, I think we have to delay this.
Yep.
Until we have everything correct. So Marilyn's right. So
What
I
do you-
appreciate the board trying to find a work through, but
I'm sorry.
no, that's.
Oh, it happens.
No harm, no foul. I mean, we caught it and corrected it.
Don't worry about it. What are the thoughts of the board?
I think we should have Marilyn go ahead, seeing she's unable to attend the 27th. Yeah, and this has to be done at a Board of Commissioners meeting, can't be done at a cow? And is there any time restrictions? Is the 27th all right?
She just won't be here to,
I just won't be here, and the only restriction why we wanted to have it earlier and why we did it, actually I presented it to the committee of the whole in June, was so that we could have it as early as possible in July, because we want to be able to spend the money. We couldn't do that before we had a public hearing and, publish the guidelines. That's the only reason that I wanted to have it as early as possible, and Luella and Michael were very accommodating and said, yes, we can probably do it at the committee of the whole in June, and then on July 6th, we would just delay it, have notice that we were going to be having a public hearing.
yeah.
One place. Couldn't wait another month.
Oh, there were a lot of set of eyes that looked at that. It got
Oh, no, I'm
deleted.
sure. No, and I feel bad. I didn't even think about it, but it was published in last Thursday's paper. So, we only need 5 days, so whatever.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
do, I'll do.
I don't know, can we do it at a cow meeting?
I believe we could. Catherine?
She answered my question. I wondered how many days notice the public hearing, so 5 days. So could we do it at the cow?
So what's our newspaper record, the Hastings Banner, or the Reminder?
The banner.
Okay.
So the
Well,
banner, as I've been told for years, is the official paper.
Sunday, Monday.
We would have enough.
Are you able to hold a public hearing at a committee of the whole?
no, we would have to schedule a Board of Commissioners meeting after the.
Oh,
So, the,
Well, I don't want you to have to do that.
Well, we'll be here anyways, can't we just?
That's semantics.
yeah, it's, this is all the technical, this is very inside baseball of local government. So at the end of the day, the public hearing is to let people come and make their voice heard on how we're gonna spend federal dollars.
Well, it's already been determined how you're going to spend it.
Mhm.
You're going to spend it on the same way that the other programs have been spent, with homeowner improvement for emergencies only. You're just going to approve the dollar amount to be spent, and just letting the people know that one of the benefits that I see of a public hearing is to let people know that the program's available.
Yep. We're gonna abide by the letter of the law. What are the board's thoughts of holding a special BOC after the cow? This is not unprecedented. We have done it before.
Back-to-back meetings, that would work. Could do it all at the same time.
Next Tuesday,
Next Tuesday.
I'm here,
All right.
and I'll come back.
All right, cool.
And I'll make my presentation then, right?
Yep.
Okay, it might be, and thank you all very much. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
Items for consideration. Commissioner Gibson.
Mr. Chair, I move for approval of prepaid invoices in the amount of $3,755,750.60.
Second.
Motion by Gibson, supported by Getty, for the approvals of transfers and disbursements, approval of prepaid invoices in the amount of $3,755,750.60. Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Connor,
Yes.
Getty,
Aye.
Gibson,
Aye.
Jackson absent, Smoker,
Aye.
Campbell. Geiger.
Aye. The item is approved.
Item B, approval of claims in the amount of $85,794.34. Item C, approval of commissioner reimbursement mileage in the amount of $286.05.
Support.
Motion by Gibson, supported by Smelka, for the approval of claims in the amount of $85,794.34 and approval of commissioner reimbursements mileage in the amount of $286.05. Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Getty,
Aye.
Gibson,
Aye.
Jackson absent, Smoker,
Aye.
Campbell. Connor,
Aye.
Geiger.
Aye. The item is approved.
Item E, I guess we're gonna skip D.
Good
Right?
catch.
We're
You're right.
skipping it. Okay. Item E, approval of the renewal of the liability, vehicle, physical damage, and property and crime insurance coverage through the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority for the period of July the 1st, 2021 to July the 1st, 2022 in the amount of $425.61, and authorize a member representative to sign the agreement.
Is there support?
Support, but that's not the correct amount, right? 424,000.
Oh, you're right.
The board will take note if there's no objection. Motion by Gibson, supported by Smelker, for approval to renew the liability, vehicle, physical damage, and property and crime insurance coverage through the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority for the period of July 1, 2021 through July 1, 2022, in the amount of $424,061, and authorize the member representative to sign the agreement. Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Gibson.
Aye.
Jackson absent. Smelker.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Getty.
Aye.
And Geiger.
Aye. The item is approved.
Item F, approval of the equalization appraisal contract with ACRUT to do 152 appraisals in Berry County in the commercial classes, and approval to transfer 152 by 55 at $8,360 from the equalization permanent salaries line item 101-225-704-000 to the contractual services line item 101-225-816-000.
Second. Second.
Who's on the ball today? Motion by Gibson, supported by Connor, for the approval of the equalization appraisal contract with Accurate to do 152 appraisals in Berry County in the commercial classes, and approval to transfer 152 by 55, $8,360 from the equalization permanent salaries line item 101-225-704-000 to the contractual services line item 101-225-816-000. Is there discussion? Good morning, Tim.
Good morning. Yes.
I think your line is muted.
No, it was on.
It was on.
I couldn't really hear that.
Morning?
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. All right. Yes, we've been shorthanded twice this year. Earlier this year, we didn't get our part-time clerical person until middle of February, and then we had an appraiser that left about a month ago. And also the COVID situation has put us behind a little bit. We've had to close down quite a few times in the spring. And so we're recommending this contract be approved, and this is actually for the commercial and industrial classes both, not just the commercial class. This is a contractor we've used at Eaton County for about the last 9 years. He knows the equalization process very well and does a very detailed job, and $55 a parcel is pretty reasonable for the complexity that's involved with doing commercial industrial appraisals. And so we're recommending this be done so we can meet our state mandated equalization studies by the deadline at the end of this year. Questions? And this is the maximum amount. We do anticipate that the actual cost will probably be less than that, but that is the maximum.
So the request should actually say commercial and industrial classes?
Correct. So it's for all of it, for the whole county.
So the chair would offer a friendly amendment to change in the second line, commercial classes to commercial and industrial classes. Is there any objection? Who?
No.
John? There's no objection. Commissioner Connor, please state your objection.
Oh, I don't have any.
She's the one that seconded it.
Oh.
That's right.
I thought you were just being nice asking me.
Nope, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Without objection, the item is amended. The question now before the board is approval of the equalization appraisal contract with Accurate to do 152 appraisals in Berry County in the commercial and industrial classes, and approval to transfer 152 by 55, $8,360 from the equalization permanent salaries line 101-225-704,000 to the contractual services line item 101-225-816,000. Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Jackson, absent. Smelker,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Getty,
Aye.
Gibson,
Aye.
Geiger.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you.
Item G, approval to appropriate $15,000 from Berry County Chamber of Commerce and Economical Development Alliance to enter into an agreement with the Antero Group to provide broadband assessment and implementation support services to support advancing the expansion of broadband within Berry County.
Support.
Motion by Gibson, supported by Smelker for approval to appropriate $15,000 for the Berry County Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Alliance to enter an agreement with Antero Group to provide broadband assessment and implementation support services to support advancing the expansion of broadband within Berry County. Discussion. Commissioner Getty, you have submitted this request along with some friends here today. Would you like to come up with the group and explain what this is about? Good morning. Sure.
So I think Jennifer is here, she was prepared to present it, but I'll just open by saying that I was recently added to the broadband committee when I took office. There's been a lot of work that's been done for years and years. I bet there's some folks here that have been on it for more than 5 years, maybe approaching 10 years. So we're really hoping that this is really going to push us to some implementation instead of just. Yes.
Great.
Our current committee has been meeting for over a year. It started meeting in April of last year, and we are really good at the administrative aspects of the project, but now we're to the point where it's very technical and it's outside of our knowledge base. So we feel we've gotten as far as we can go with what we can do, and we have to bring somebody from the outside in. So we're looking to hire a consultant group. I believe you received the proposal in your packets. The Antero Group, the plan is that they will come here, they will run surveys, they'll go through each of the communities, determine exactly what areas need to be served. They can help us update all of our GIS maps, and they will determine which areas need fixed wireless, which ones need the underground, which need the above ground. If there are areas that only satellite will work, they can develop that whole plan for us and create a roadmap to get us to the point of offering a request for proposal to the local providers that we can actually move forward with implementation. That's all stuff that's outside of our realm. So what we are asking for now, the proposal is $30,000, and the Berry County Community Foundation has agreed to pay $15,000 of that. So we are looking for the additional $15,000 to sign a contract with the Antero Group. They are able to start at the end of July, and will have the full report to us by mid-November.
Great. Questions from commissioners? We'll start with Commissioner Campbell.
Not being very knowledgeable on this, of course. I just know that in my area, broadband is extremely critical that we become of age, I guess you might say, out there. And I just want to say anything they can do to hurry that along would be great in my mind.
Great. Thank you. Vice Chair Connor?
Thank you. So I read the proposal, and so we already have the maps, if I'm reading this right on the background and history, that we worked with our local Berry County Information Services, and you've addressed a lot of the broadband maps already?
We have maps, but they're not great. Right now, the maps that the state provide go on census tract. So if one house in that census block has internet, the whole house, or the whole block is counted as having internet. So we need to get more granular down to the address level to know which houses actually do have service and which don't.
Oh, okay. I kind of read that then backwards, because I thought it meant that we'd already created better maps than,
We've been working with the county and we have better maps than we used to, but they're not great.
oh, they're still not great. Okay, all right. So, and then coordination with, when you say, in coordination with several local partners and service providers, but the funding is coming from Berry County and the Community Foundation for this. Is that correct?
Correct.
So, if the wording was a little, when I first read the first line, it was like, with the goal of applying for Berry County American Rescue Plan Ag funds. I thought, well, paying them to make an application to us to pay them. So I had some questions about that, so, but November, so 6 months. Okay, not quite 6 months. I guess that's all I have. We need broadband.
We do. Especially in your district. Poor Commissioner Connor, she's gotta go outside on her roof to
No.
take calls from the,
Now I have MEI, so.
all right, great,
So, I don't have to do that anymore.
yes.
But, do they need to apply, or can, as we go through our ARPA funds, can we just set aside?
Well, that's a good question. I think what the
That was to them.
I think what the proposal is to get our ducks in a row, to begin the process of
Right.
investigating broadband, not whether
They make the
there's a
application.
need, but where the investment would go.
Okay. All right. All right,
Right. Commissioner Gibson,
I have no questions. I do think it's a good project.
absolutely.
Commissioner Smelker.
I read in there that it would be done in November, but for the ARP funds, the application has to be in September 17th. Is that gonna cause a problem?
There's 2 rounds.
Yeah, there's 2 rounds. For the county, the first deadline is September 17th. There'll be another round of funding options. There may be multiple rounds, and commissioners have determined that. But we know that we received half of the funding.
So you don't see a problem with that, with the November
Well,
date?
I
We ain't much choice, do we?
I think we would have our, more specifics and, at the conclusions of the report, the end of August, so we could apply for that. But that's just not possible. So we do what we can when we can, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
That's kind of where I was going with it, because, I mean, with November after the deadline, I mean, they don't, and it's our funds that we will decide how to distribute. Would they have to apply, or could we just at the very beginning set aside an amount?
There's no precedent on how to go about this. The board can do whatever it wishes with the amount, with the funds that have been granted. I think what the challenge with broadband is, we know that there's a need across the county, and it's gonna be a significant investment. If we wait till the end to say, let's invest in broadband, there might not be the funds left to make something that's impactful, Just like you have these little census tracts. We want the impact to be spread across the whole county. So by spending the funds up front to get a game plan for broadband, we're gonna put ourselves in a better position to spend money wisely.
I must not have, we're talking on the same thing, but I'm for the project, the 15th. But what I'm saying is, if they don't have their report until November, as this board, couldn't we just, when we go through the process of the applications, even before that, couldn't we just say, we're gonna set aside, I'm just throwing out figures here, $2 million for the broadband project, even before we know what the cost is? If it's more than that, we could address that at the second round.
We could also give an extension for everybody. If everybody is in the same spot, that we don't have our reports done, we have a really good proposal, it's just gonna take a little bit of time, we can extend it for everybody.
Yeah, 'cause I-
But you're correct, Commissioner, we could set aside funds up front to say this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it's gonna cost, but it definitely is a very important thing for the county, because, I mean,
Right.
We may also be reaching out to townships that are identified in the report that are particularly affected. I don't think there's any township in the county that's not affected in some way, but there are some townships, probably Bruce, that are affected more than
Yes.
others.
Orangeville.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know, so that would give us a chance to reach out to those townships as well. So, like
Good.
Ben said, this is unprecedented, money, and I think that we should be cautious and deliberate in making our decisions.
I would add too that we are also applying for an NTIA grant that's up to 30 million. So if we need to have a 10% match for that, so we may be reaching out to some of these townships, asking if they can use their portion of ARPA to help us reach that 10%. So we think with that money, we're able to connect 3,500 households. And then, so as far as this is concerned, one of the things that they're going to do is make sure that we have all of our i's dotted and t's crossed in that grant application too.
But beyond that, they're going to tell us, this report is going to tell us where investment should go.
Yes.
Okay. So that's important to all of us.
Well, and because we can only use those funds for people that have less than 25 upload, 3 megabyte download speed. So they have to identify who is even eligible.
Wait, this 25 megs, is that the federal requirement, or? Dave, Mr. Stoll, do you want to come up and answer that?
Sure, so actually.
I'm sorry to tag team this.
So it's 25 megs download and 3 meg upload, that's the threshold.
Yeah.
That the federal government deems as broadband. I don't know what they call less than that, I guess it makes.
They call it frustrating.
Missing.
Yeah.
It makes
Maddening.
funds available, if you're below that threshold. So that would be, if someone had something less than 25 by 3, they would be underserved. So they're served, they're just underserved, and that's different from unserved, which means they don't have access to anything. And they exclude cellular and satellite from that definition. So it's very important, as they had mentioned, that we very granularly look at this, because we don't want to build over someone who's already put funds out there, which might have been federal or state funds or private funds. We want to get to the people who just don't have access, and
Or underserved.
well, preferably unserved. I mean, if they
yeah.
don't have anything, that would be probably the best use. And in a lot of cases, those homes are more spread out and are more costly to get to, and that's where support is going to be critical.
I think Irving Township, the last map I saw, has some of the worst broadband, other than the middle of Gun Lake. So it affects all of us.
And there's areas where we've applied in different programs. One side of the road qualifies and one side doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's because of the rigidity of these federal and state maps, and that's where we can get a lot more granular. So I'm definitely in support of this.
Great, thank you. Well, we thank the Berry Community Foundation for their generosity in matching this. And is there any other discussion or questions? Hearing no further discussion, the question before the board is approval to appropriate $15,000 for the Berry County Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Alliance to enter into an agreement with the Antero Group to provide broadband assessment and implementation support services to support advancing the expansion of broadband within Berry County. The clerk will call the roll.
Smoker.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Getty.
Aye.
Gibson.
Aye.
Jackson absent. Geiger.
Aye. The item is approved. Unfinished business, we have no unfinished business. New business, there is none. Yes.
You would need to, at some point, schedule a board meeting for the 27th. That might
Can we have administration write out the motion and then we'll do it under other business? We'll skip the county administrator's report for now. Chairperson's report. Welcome to the mezzanine, to the horseshoe, to our new commissioner sitting behind the foul poles. It's been a lot's happened since the last time we were up here, and we need to thank our administration department. We need to thank the Berry Community Foundation, and we need to thank David Schinnevier, Aaron Staines, Matt Ward, and Leslie in the Information Services Department for everything they did to get us through Zoom. It was a fun time, wasn't it? But it's good to be back. So let's give a round of applause to our county staff. Vice Chairperson's report.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back in this comfortable chair. My back appreciates it. So things that I've attended, the airport board, the deer fence is up. We're still waiting on the gates. With most building issues, everything is back ordered. Last Saturday was the Dawn Patrol pancake breakfast. They had some great blueberry pancakes if you missed it. Courts and Law building renovation meeting. The stairwells have both the floors have been epoxied. The south stairwell is going to need a second coat of grit. And the last meeting was on the 30th, so they were well into painting. The drywall is up. The grid was up for the ceiling. We did approve some additional soundproofing for between the magistrate's office and the judge's office to help with noise control. Tentative schedule.
Is that the courthouse or the courts and law?
Courts and law.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I didn't say that.
No, I think they want to do sound paneling in the courthouse.
Yeah, that we did. I went over there and looked with Ines and Judge Elspa at those panels too. We did look at changing how they were going to pattern it.
Mm-hmm.
So, tentative schedule for the furniture to be delivered to the Indigent Defense and the basement offices in the Courts and Law building. Tentative the last week in July, and then they'll be going to the first floor. So, I attended Orangeville Township and Yankee Spring Township's meeting, and also the Solid Waste Oversight Committee meeting was last Friday. We didn't have a quorum. We do have our 3-year budget submitted to administration, and Rachel France, the new administrator for Solid Waste Oversight, she gave a report. She's been out to several of the townships, and she's been talking to some businessmen and looking at how to enhance our September solid waste collection.
Right.
So that's all I have.
When we're adding offices into the basement, do we need to renumber the floors? I mean, is the basement going to be basement or ground or what?
I don't know. I don't know about the signs. I think they've been ordered, but I'm not sure.
Signs have not been ordered, but
signs.
we're working through that process so that they follow the same style that we have in this building. We haven't gotten that far. We can.
I was just curious.
Right now, it's just for a second and third floor in that building, and we'll either call the lower level or the basement. We wouldn't rename it so that it's so that effectively there are 4 floors on that building. That would confuse somebody. So whether we'll either call it the basement or the lower level.
Probably the lower level would be a little more.
What do we call the lower level in this building?
This one is ground. It's actually considered the ground level or elevator.
Great.
Sorry that I misspoke. I knew that we had talked about signs. I guess I thought they had been ordered.
Thank you, Vice Chair Connor. Commissioner reports. We will start with Commissioner Getty.
All right, thank you. I attended the Community Mental Health Board meeting. We did meet in person for the first time, so that was very helpful to me to meet people face to face. We met in the, I can't remember exactly what the building is called, but it's the Autism Day Use Building near Algonquin Lake. We got a tour of the building and a presentation from staff, and I just want to applaud that staff and the hard work that they do with Berry County residents and families that face autism challenges. The Village of Middleville has is considering a dog park conceptual plan. I believe they'll approve that at tonight's meeting, and as well as a marijuana ordinance regulating marijuana businesses in the Village of Middleville. I have the Middleville Local Development Finance Authority meeting this week as well.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Campbell.
Thank you. I did attend several meetings, including the DHS and Thornapple Manor, which continues to make good progress on their Harvest Point project. That's their 50-unit assisted living project. It's really something to watch it develop out there. If you get a chance to go by M79 down there, it's really interesting watching that develop, maybe more so for me as a contractor. I also attended CAA and Conservation Easement Boards, along with Maple Grove Township meetings. Unfortunately did miss my Assyria and Solid Waste Oversight Commissioner meetings because of a vacation that my wife said I must go on, so I went.
It's mandatory.
That was mandatory, so apologize for missing those, but thank you.
No problem. Commissioner Gibson.
Last week I attended the Judicial Council meeting. I gave them an update on the Courts of Law building. All the walls are up. They're presently installing ductwork and working on the ceiling. They expect to be done in there by the end of July. Then they'll start working upstairs.
Great.
That's all I have.
Thank you. And Commissioner Smelker.
So far, I just attended Carlton and Freeport. Freeport, the Village of Freeport is talking about ARP money and water systems. And
Good.
That's all I have so far.
Thank you. Before we move ahead, we need to circle back and get County Administrator's report. Do you have a update?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay. There is no report. Limited public comment. At this time, any member of the public wishing to address the board may do so for up to 3 minutes. It's good to see you back at 10,000 feet. We've been looking at each other for like...
What?
Yeah.
Is the button up?
This is the last time I'm going to say this, really. About 10 years ago, wife and I were literally sitting in the center of the ancient village, or city, whatever, Kathmandu, Nepal, western side of Mount Everest. You can see Mount Everest. I had this with me. So I thought, I'm going to see if this thing works. So I called my office in Hastings, Michigan. The reception was better than this thing is here, talking face to face. Point is that I'm glad that you did approve the money for the broadband for Berry County. We need it badly. That's not the only thing, but we are so far behind on this. And if the new one that doesn't blow some good on this virus thing that we've gone through, that it's brought to our attention that we need something a lot better than what we've got in Berry County to make the world work in the county. Recycle the new coordinator, Rachel. Hopefully we can get something done countywide. You guys have to get your pocketbook out. You're not going to do it anyway. Maybe we don't need it. But we do need something better than what we've got. In fact, this morning when I came from the township, one of my residents came in and wanted to know when we were going to empty the recycling module. I think it's again, it would be too soon. We spent, I say we, almost $1 million renovating the Titan Center, which is extremely good. That's where this meeting should be held. This is insane to be up here on this. Thank you.
Is there further public comment? Hearing none, we'll move ahead. Chair recognizes Vice Chair Connor for other business.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I move to schedule a special Board of Commissioner meeting on July 20th, 2021, immediately following the Committee of the Whole meeting for the purpose of holding a public hearing and considering approving the fiscal year 2021 CDBG Program Income Emergency Repair Guidelines.
Second.
Motion by Connor, supported by Gibson, to schedule a special Board of Commissioners meeting on July 20th, 2021, immediately following the Committee of the Whole meeting for the purpose of holding a public hearing and considering approving the fiscal year 2021 CDBG Program Income Emergency Repair Guidelines. Is there discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Campbell.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Getty.
Aye.
Gibson.
Aye.
Jackson absent. Smelker. Aye. Geiger.
Aye. The item is approved. We've reached the end of our agenda. Is there any objection to adjourning? Hearing no objection, the board will now adjourn. Oh. Apologize, guys. I'm a little rusty. Limited public comment. Wait, we already did it.
Yeah, good, Jim. That's okay.
I knew I knew I called for public comment.
Dark on it.
All right.
Darrell, got something to say?
If you want to speak, raise your hand. Seeing no hands and without objection, the board will now adjourn. We're adjourned.